What's going on, football fans? It's your host, Bad Takes, with Bad Takes in Football, back with another video for you. Going to be diving into the Monday Night Football game and what happened. But before I do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm on my road to my first 100 subscribers. It really helps me out. We're actually doing a giveaway of a portable speaker. It's going to be Bluetooth. You can break it into two different pieces so you almost have surround sound. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure to like and comment on this video. What did you think of last night's Monday Night Football game between the Detroit Lions and the Baltimore Ravens? Let's hop into today's video. So when looking at this game, the Lions did exactly what I thought they were going to do. They decided they were going to beat the Ravens at their own game. And what I mean by that is they focused on the run, and they focused on the run heavily in this game. The Detroit Lions carried the ball over 30 times in this game. They had 38 carries for 224 yards. David Montgomery led the Detroit Lions with 12 carries for 151 yards. He also added 2 touchdowns. His running mate, Jahmyr Gibbs, also added 2 touchdowns in this game, and he also had 67 yards on 22 carries. Again, this Baltimore Ravens defense, they were without Nnamdi Madubuike as well as Kyle Van Noy on the defensive line, and they just didn't have an answer for these Lions. They just kept running and running until the Ravens essentially were so tired that they couldn't have any fresh legs out there. Not having someone like Nnamdi Madubuike, who was a former All-Pro and Pro Bowl defensive tackle, who is also a great pass rusher, was a huge hit for this Ravens team. The Baltimore Ravens didn't have a single sack in this game. That is not going to allow you to win any games in the NFL. You have to be putting pressure on the quarterback, and Jared Goff had all the time in the world back there. It was clear as day. A lot of that had to do with the fact that they kept threatening with the run game against the Ravens, and so the Ravens were kind of sitting back there. But at the same time, if you're not getting to Jared Goff, he's going to pick you apart. Now, what I will say is Lamar Jackson did have a really good game in this game. He was 21 for 27 for 288 yards and 3 touchdowns. But at the same time, Derrick Henry, I'm not really sure what's going on with Derrick Henry. I'm actually starting to get worried that there's something going on with his mental, because he's had another fumble and he lost this one, and that really could have cost the Ravens this game. I'm not saying he's the sole reason the Ravens lost this game, but Derrick Henry fumbling that ball, giving it back to the Lions, is what really sealed this game, in my opinion. So there's a lot that the Ravens need to work on, but most especially their offensive line. I talked about how Jared Goff wasn't sacked in this game. Lamar Jackson got sacked 7 times. So that's a 7-0 sack differential. That cannot happen in a game. This offensive line really needs to figure things out. I know that the Lions have a really good defensive line, but you just can't let that happen. The other thing I need to see from the Baltimore Ravens is just more playmaking on the defensive side. They did a really good job of minimizing big plays for the most part, but they also weren't causing any turnovers. I didn't see them breaking up any passes. It just wasn't a good game for this Ravens defense. Whenever you get 38 points scored on you, I don't care who that offense is, you're not having a good performance. And I feared this, and it turned out to be true. The Baltimore Ravens just didn't have the offense to keep up with the Lions offense. The Ravens have a really good offense, but when your team is allowing 38 points, there's only so much you can do. The Baltimore Ravens made 2 key mistakes in this game. Lamar Jackson fumbled the ball on a fourth down conversion, which he wasn't going to get anyway, and the Lions were going to get the ball back, but he actually lost 18 yards, so it gave the Lions better field position. And then the other mistake, like I said before, was the Derrick Henry fumble. Those are the only mistakes you need in order to lose to a really good team like the Detroit Lions. Really good teams capitalize on mistakes. They couldn't force any mistakes for the Detroit Lions, and they made too many mistakes themselves. Let's really see what happens with the Ravens and their injuries coming up. I'm really curious and concerned about Nnamdi Madubuike. The fact that there was no true incident that happened with his injury, he just happened to feel neck issues after the game. That really scares me. That tells me that it could be something a lot more serious than what anyone might understand right now. And also, we really need Kyle Van Noy back. The Ravens pass rush just isn't it right now. Adafe Owe is struggling to get past his tackle, and Mike Green, I like the effort, but he's just not getting there yet. I was happy with the fact that Mark Andrews was able to actually perform in this game. Mark Andrews wasn't really a factor in the first two games, but he actually led the Ravens in receptions and yards in this game. He had 6 catches for 91 yards, and he also had a touchdown. So I'm really happy to see that Mark Andrews still has that capability. Hopefully him and Lamar can get back on the same track like they were in prior years. But again, I'm also concerned with the fact that Zay Flowers wasn't really a factor in this game. Looking at it, he definitely was focused on from a defensive perspective. I like that Rashad Bateman really stepped up in this game. That was definitely needed. But again, just wasn't enough from an offensive perspective to make up for the fact that your defense is giving up 38 points. Giving up 224 yards on the ground is something you do not see the Ravens do a lot at all. It's probably maybe happened one or two times in the last 5 to 6 years. That's just not a thing you see. Generally, it's the opposite way around. Generally, the Ravens are the one that are rushing for over 200 yards in a game. This is the second game in a row the Ravens haven't run for over 100 yards. This is a really big issue. It's not even like they're passing the ball too much. Lamar Jackson had 27 attempts in this game from a passing perspective. So it's not like they're throwing the ball 50 times. The Lions just kept the ball out of their hands. This was a game of time of possession, and the Lions won this perfectly. What did you think of last night's game? Are the Ravens in trouble? How good is this Lions team? Do you think that they're a Super Bowl contender like I do? Thank you again for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. This is Bad Takes with Bad Takes in Football, signing out.